Hello, Matt. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So you're still over there in Albi in France?
Yeah, in wet and miserable Albi until tomorrow morning when we start the drive back home.
Well, first of all, I suppose commiserations. I'm really sorry that you weren't able to run the race that you wanted to in the 24 hour. Do you want to let us know sort of what happened and yeah.
Yeah, about mid-August time, I started having a few issues with my heart, which could be quite concerning. So I've been through some tests, been to the doctors, spoke to a cardiologist, and had a diagnosis of paroxysmal arterial fibrillation, which basically means without warning, my heart will start beating irregularly. It does go back to a normal beat when I stop exercising. In the build-up, we were unable to identify a specific trigger from that.
Right.
And then coupled with the fact we've got 6 men racing, no reserve squad, and I did get the full clearance of UK Athletics and the race doctor to race. I made the decision that I wanted to try. Unfortunately, as you say, I didn't get very far into the race before it became an issue, and then on medical grounds, we'd agreed I'd have to stop. So that's what happened.
Right. Okay. There's mention there of a reserve squad. Has there been a reserve squad in the past that you know of, or is that? It sounds like a money issue to me for UK athletics.
As I understand it, the squad itself can consist of 6 runners that race and will count the best 3 will count towards the team score, and then you can also put forward 3 reserves of your squad, and up until the day before the race, one of those can be nominated to take part as the squad.
Right.
As the men's team, we'd only got 7 people in the country that had achieved the standard, 6 that decided they wanted to partake.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I believe the standard is at 245 kilometers that you have to run.
Yeah, 245 to be a team member.
And is it further to be individual?
It's 254 for the individual.
Right, okay, so a little bit further.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, as you didn't really get to race, you did get to witness some history. And were you able to help on the sidelines, or were you just able to kick back and spectate for the rest of the 24?
I did a little bit of spotting for an hour or two, early doors, to say to the crew when runners were coming around, so they had a little bit more time. Then I went off to get showered, changed, have a bit of sleep. I got back to the track just before 7 in the morning, quietly hoping that Sarah was actually going to take the overall British record, which she was on track for at that time. So I spent 3 hours cheering the British and the Irish runners and a few others that I know from the scene.
Yeah, well, she was close, wasn't she? She's second all time behind you. Yours 281.3 kilometers, is it?
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
with 2 hours to go, I think she needed to hold an 8-minute lap or slightly slower. And unfortunately for her, it slowed a bit more in the latter stages.
Well, it's not really too surprising, is it? Holding that kind of pace isn't something normal people can do, and you're one of those people. So I know that you currently hold the British record of 281.3 kilometers, but it wasn't your first 24 hour. I noticed when stalking your results online, you did one the year before. How did that one go?
Well, I did 2 actually previous to that. So right. I did Gloucester the year before, which was my first ever 24-hour race.
Right.
And I ran a distance of 235 kilometers on that occasion. And I had a couple of power naps during the race.
Right.
Set off way faster than I should have, and paid the price in the later stages. But I was bitten by the bug. I wasn't put off. That spurred me on to get a coach, start training with a bit more structure than I had been doing. And then that brought me to 2024, where I went to Crawley. I didn't have the race I wanted then. So I went back to Gloucester in 2024 in the August. Obviously ran 281 kilometres.
And that was the end of the story. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Short and sweet as ever.
What is it? It's important here to cycle back because I read your coach. Is it Nathan Flair?
Yeah, that's right.
And you did a good Q&A about your 281. But it's important here to what I took from that is you've only been running for a couple of years by that point. So how did it first start? How did you first get running, and what was the transition from 0 to 24 hours?
Always dabbled with a bit of sport. As a youth and a junior, I did a bit of triathlon, a bit of cycling, and I was almost there or thereabouts, but not quite to the level I've achieved with running. In fact, I go back as far as say I didn't like running back in those days. Running's one of the easiest ways to lose weight, especially when you can just turn your mind off and go for a long run. So 3 years ago, that's what I started doing. I was overweight. I'd been enjoying life a little bit too much, a few too many music festivals, way too much cider. And I said, I want to start running. I want to get fit so I can ride my bike again up the hills without too much issue. And I entered a marathon for GB Ultras, their Liverpool New Year's Eve marathon, and then saw a Chester 50 on the same website. Entered that at the same time, and it all escalated very quickly.
So from the very beginning, do you think triathlon sort of led to that you weren't afraid of longer distances? Did it distort that in a way?
I think I'd always had a preference to the longer stuff, even when I was a junior in the tri club, and the emphasis was on sprint and Olympic distance. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the lactate sessions. I enjoyed the long, slow training sessions. And when I came back to running, I naively thought that you could win ultras and do well just by doing loads of zone 2 stuff, which you need to do, but you need to polish that as well with some of the fastest, as you'll know from your 24-hour block of still having to do a midweek interval session.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do quite like the interval sessions, to be fair. But as you get further and further into the training block, they get a bit harder, don't they?
Yeah, and what I found as well once I started working with Nathan is when he sets the intervals, they are the right amount of interval training. There's a measure between getting the work done, feeling you could do 1 or 2 more reps at the end of the session, as opposed to self-coaching yourself for 8 reps, but being sick after 5 and calling it a day.
Yeah, I've had the exact same advice. Like, you should always feel like you can do 1 or 2 more at the end. And I had a period where I had a coach for a bit, and then I dropped him for a small period of maybe like 4 months, and then sheepishly went back to him after that, after I tried to coach myself and ended up doing just ridiculous sessions that made no sense. So it's better to hand it to someone who knows what they're doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the many benefits of becoming a coached athlete.
Yeah. So you signed up for Chester 50 and the Liverpool Marathon at the same time, and then just snuck under 3 hours for the Liverpool Marathon, wasn't it? What was that like? Was that a big moment for you at the time?
That was huge. 3 hours 7 was the target for that race, and I miraculously managed to go off slightly quick at the 3 hour pace and hang on. It was a relatively even paced race pace wise. Probably still one of my biggest athletic achievements considering the level of fitness I had at that time. Yeah, I was quite proud of that.
What did the training look like in the build up to that first race?
I'd done a lot of miles, just going out of an evening, plugging away. I think I peaked at about 100-mile week in the 8-week build up, and my intervals was just 200s and 400s. Again, self-coached at this point and working way too hard and probably not relevant for a marathon block.
So even all the way back then, you'd already managed to run a 100-mile week in training. That is just mind-blowing, even just self-coached.
Yeah, again, in hindsight and looking at it sensibly, I was very lucky not to get injured, but it did give me a taste that I was perhaps able to tolerate a bigger training load.
Did you use an online training plan or anything like that, or did you map it all out on a spreadsheet yourself?
It was a spreadsheet, and it had some color coding on it, and it was a very simple progressive overload of like easy, medium, hard, rest, medium, hard, harder.
Nice. Okay, well, I suppose that, yeah, I've definitely done the same. I can still go back on my computer now and look at little training plans I've tried to plug myself together. They're nice to reflect on, I suppose, aren't they?
It's nice to see how far we've come.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm trying to get to here is that in the article about you, it was sort of like, oh, he's just been running for 2 years, and then pow, he's the British record holder for 24 hours. But it looks like he just had an aptitude for it right off the bat, because you also did the Thames Path 100 and came second.
Yeah, and Manchester to Liverpool as well. Again, I'd entered all these races before I'd actually towed the line at Chester. So before I'd done the marathon even, I'd managed to get a last-minute place at Manchester to Liverpool that I'd seen someone selling online. And then the arc of attrition popped up. So I booked a place at that, and I needed to do a 100-miler. So I booked in for the Thames Path. Again, naively thinking a flat race is an easy race. No, but a flat race is just a faster race, Matthew, and you should know that by now.
Well, I mean, you did it in 14 hours, 52 minutes. So it kind of reads like it went pretty well.
It did. It was a good day.
What's it like the Thames Path 100? Because it's really it's kind of shouting at me at the moment as like a good 100-miler to go and do.
The first 50-mile up to Henley is hard compacted trail and road or tarmac path, so it's fast. And then after Henley to the finish, weather dependent, it can be a bit of a bog fest, or it can just be a slightly muddier flat trail.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, if you look at the timings from different years of finishes, it really depends on what the weather's like.
Okay, well, how did it play out for you on the day?
I'd listened to the podcasts and read what people had said. So yeah, it was road shoes up to 50 miles and then switched to trail shoes and sogged to the end. I'd made a very gutsy move and got off the front at checkpoint 2. And I was caught just before checkpoint 7 with a slight nav error. And I never caught Jeff Cheshire. He ran an absolute stormer to the finish. And then I ran in with Paul Maskell. We had a good chat, which I reminded him about this weekend of me saying, I want to give 24 hours a try. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable event, and a bit of a schooling in pacing as well over that distance.
That's amazing that you ran it in with Paul Maskell of all people. Was that where the fire was ignited? Did you sign up shortly after that for the first one?
Again, in the habit of me jumping the gun on these things, Robbie Britton had just beaten the Dave Dowdall's record. It was the February or the March. So I'd seen the pieces written about that and thought, that looks fun. I don't know why, but yeah, running in 24 hours in circles looks fun. So I'd already got an application in to run Gloucester that summer.
All right, brilliant. Well, most people don't say it looks fun. And most of the people I speak to, like, you mention it and they actually take a step back and look at you funny and you go, oh, why would you do that?
Even some of the squad members say it's not a particularly fun thing to do. But I really enjoy it.
But they've got the ability, unfortunately. Yeah, I enjoyed it too, actually. And I mean, I'm definitely going to do more, and I'm sure you'll do more for many years to come as well, I would assume.
Yeah, I have been looking at race websites this morning. Obviously, I don't want to jump the gun and book anything yet. I need some time off to rest and recover. I've also got another eye on getting another qualifying time for 2027.
Nice. So when's the qualifying period for 2026? Has that already come and gone?
There is no Worlds in 2026. There could potentially be a European Championships, but nothing's been announced. So we know the next championship that's going to happen will be the World Championships in 27.
Right. Okay. Is it not an annual thing?
No, it's biannual.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is I've got 2 years as well.
Based on the period from Taipei to Albi, you have from almost the date of the last race, give or take a week, up until about 6 or 7 months before. So
right, okay.
You'll have, unless they change it, all of 26 and perhaps the first couple of months of the season of 27 to get your time in. So this year, the last race you could have qualified at was Crawley.
Right, okay. But then there probably won't be any early on in 2027, will there?
It depends how far you want to travel. You can go to Finland and you can run an indoor one early in season. You can go to Ireland and race in April. Brave the weather.
Have you done any of those?
No, these are ones I'm potentially looking at for next year now.
Right, okay,
so
nice.
This is my first international race.
Well, I am sorry that you weren't able to go out and smash it as you did, and well, at least we had Sarah Webster's performance to all and the women indeed to completely
the
feed
whole
off.
Women's team. It was a pleasure to watch and to spend time with all the 11 athletes prior to the race. That camaraderie, the team environment we have, and the crew supporting us, it's like nothing else. My crew will shout at me for saying that they're not the best in the world. They're the best in the world for me, but the likes of the 6 we had looking after us on Saturday, they were brilliant. We didn't have to think about anything other than running in the build-up from arriving at team camp to the race.
What's it like doing running on the actual course? I know it was only a short period, but it's not just around a running track. It's not 400 meters. They do a bit of a track and a bit of a road extension.
Yeah, it was strange. It was like starting like a marathon or half marathon almost, because there's 400 people, or nearly 400 people on that start line. Whereas every other 24 or even long trail race I've done, you go off and you're at the front and you stay at the front or somewhere near the front, and that's it. With the caliber of runners you've got there, you've got a lot of people going off fast, a lot of people going off faster than they should as well. So it's very busy. And then as soon as you feel you've got some space, the really fast people are starting to lap you. So yeah, but with the 2 hours or so I spent on track before I had to come off the first time, by then you're just starting to find a little bit of space and get a rhythm going.
Right.
I wouldn't say it impaired me massively, but it isn't as fast as running around the track.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Man, nearly 2 hours before you've really got some proper room. I mean, I know obviously that's why the course is longer than in comparison to a normal track, 24 hours, because you've got all those people around it. They need to spread out. That's crazy. So you've done your first 235 the first one.
It was,
yeah. And then you had Crawley where you did 221. Yeah. How did you switch things up between those first couple to then suddenly springing to your 281?
There wasn't a massive change between Crawley and Gloucester. I think there was just another cycle of training. There was probably a little bit more strength work involved, but just that extra few months of regimented scheduled training and focusing on getting the qualification standard. I'd gone into Crawley with the intention of getting 260 plus kilometres to get me a safe place on the team. In the back of my head, I'd seen this British record and I was like, oh, maybe, just maybe, I'm going off at the same pace. I could have a go at that. And my fitness wasn't there at that stage. When fast forward to Gloucester, I actually set off slower So I set off 10 seconds a kilometre slower than Robbie had on his record attempt. So that was the big change on race day.
Right. Okay. So you set out to more evenly pace the whole thing then perhaps? I'd read that was difficult to do.
It was very difficult, and I went to extremes of having someone standing on the corner of the track for 2 hours telling me to slow down if I was more than 2 seconds a lap faster than I was supposed to be. It was a thankless task for them, but it worked wonders for me.
2 seconds. It's amazing how fine tuned it becomes, because even I remember just from doing my training runs around the track, I was looking at my watch at the end of every single lap. Well, I never set up the lap timer on it. I always just tried to remember what the time was when I crossed it. But even getting to just a couple seconds difference, you somehow able to do. You're like, oh, I just need to go a tiny bit slower. It's amazing that you're able to program yourself that definitively, isn't it? It's, I suppose you get so used to running exactly 400 meters that you become like a robot.
And you've got to be able to do that relaxed as well. So that slower pace, coupled with a very stern talking to, that the number one goal was qualification, and anything else was a bonus, but we needed to aim for qualification. And my coach will say himself, he thought I was capable of beating Robbie's distance, but not on that day.
Right.
Especially not with my performance of the first 12 hours up to 100 miles at 13 and a bit. It was that time after the 13 hours where I was able to hold the steadier pace and not fade.
Yeah, because that time, once you've hit sort of 1 o'clock in the morning to sunrise, I felt the energy completely leave the track. It seemed really, there were very few people moving consistently and well at that point. How did you manage to keep yourself going during that period?
I'd got some music on. I'd run with music most of the time, so I'd continuously got some techno playing. From past experience, I've learned to wrap up warm so I didn't feel the cold as much. So I put a long sleeve t-shirt on. I got a hat on for a while as well. And just focus on, at that point, I needed 28 laps an hour. For every hour, at that point, I needed to do 28 laps. And I was achieving that and a little bit more. And it's like, this is looking comfortable and confident. I just need to hold it together for a few more hours now. And from my memory, everyone else seemed to get a little bit more excited before I did. I was still a bit nervous that the wheels might come off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so did you listen to techno that entire time?
I had 6 hours of podcasts at the start.
Right.
I'd saved up a few episodes so that I could listen to just talk. I had to re-listen to the episodes after. I wasn't really taking it in. It was just something constant to just put me in a groove, but not too excited. And then the music came in after that, hour 6.
Right. Okay. I tried to sort of change things up a little bit, but I think maybe I needed a longer playlist or maybe a more varied playlist. I think does Alexander Sorokin listens to heavy metal or something, I think, as he goes around.
Yeah, I've read that somewhere. It's Metallica. It's a favourite of his.
Yeah, I suppose just something with a rhythm, as you say, with a beat to just keep you on pace. Maybe not the specific 180 beats per minute playlists and stuff like that, but just something to keep you locked in. Was there anyone else that you were able to feed off during that race, or were you sort of out there alone pushing the limits?
There was a few people you'd say hi to as you're going round. I think that race Dave Andrews came second with 2:20 or 2:30. So there's just such a differential of speed. There's no one really to run round with.
Well, that's exactly it. There is a big difference in speed between 2:30 and 2:80. So how did you know that you were capable of going like an extra 50k almost within such a short period of time?
I didn't. I honestly didn't. I can hand on heart say I went into that race thinking 265 is the target that I'm aiming for, and had no idea that 281 was going to come about. Because if you look at my splits, starting at the 450, then I dropped to 5 minutes a kilometre, and then ultimately to about 518, 520 a kilometre. I expected that to drop a lot further in the last 4 or 6 hours of the race.
That is a phenomenal speed to be able to hold at that level, at that stage. So, but on the day, was there any kind of cramping? Were you aerobically? How did you feel?
While I was running, it wasn't easy. I was having to put a lot of effort in at the end. I wasn't going above any thresholds. I wasn't getting massively out of breath. I just felt fatigued. And then, yeah, after I'd finished, I did feel like there was very little left to give, if anything. It took a few weeks to recover from that.
I mean, that's how you want to feel at the end, isn't it? You don't want to look back and wonder, oh, could I have got 282?
Well, I just should say that I walked the last 2 laps. So until I'm able to go further than 281, that is going to haunt me. That I eased off at 700 laps for a quick breather and never got going again, and walked the rest of it in.
I understand. When I crossed the line for 200k, I walked to the final 3 laps, apart from like a tiny jog at the end, because as soon as you reach that goal, and I imagine it was 700 laps for you as well, it was, my legs just were suddenly done. It must be the mental aspect of it. Your body just collapses almost.
Yeah, I'd asked my crew to give me a target of how many laps I needed to run or what pace I needed to run in the last hour. And through either deceit or tiredness, they got the calculation wrong and told me it was 700 laps I needed to do.
Oh,
so once I got to 701, yeah, that arbitrary number that I'd been given triggered some mental switch, and that was it. I'd done what I would then set out to do.
There's always someone who doesn't calculate something right, so maybe they're not the best crew in the world.
No, they say now they did it intentionally to make sure I got some distance on the old record.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you got that. I mean, it seems like when you look at the numbers, because it was 277. Oh, I can't remember. Do you remember exactly what point it was?
277.4, I think it was.
Right. Yeah. So nearly 4k. So 10 laps or so difference. Yeah. But at that point, that's quite a distance, I suppose, at that stage. So I mean, who knows? Who knows how long it'll last? But I do wonder, the more people that find out about or become intrigued with 24-hour racing, just how much more the sport can be pushed. Do you feel like it's sort of under the radar for most ultra runners?
Yeah, it's still under the radar, and as we've touched on, it's not the most attractive element of the sport, is it? We're not running point to point, or like the length or the width of the country, or from town to town. You're doing a lot of work and you're not going anywhere. So I think that takes a lot of work to attract someone to it. But when we do, we look at like what Matteo Bond's done in the last 2 seasons, with the 6-day record, the 48-hour, and unfortunately he was unable to race the 24-hour. But it's that record setting and pushing the top end that's going to attract people in. Same as it did me. If Robbie hadn't gone and set the record, I might have entered the arc and we could be having a different conversation. Or...
Yeah, it's weird how some things attract you to it. Do you not think that people think it's going to be more awful than it is, and that's why more people don't do it? Because I think, honestly, as soon as I did more than 10k around the track, I realized that it's not as bad as people think it is.
Yeah, but it's having the time and the commitment to try that. Like when people ask me about doing 24, so you do it, but you've got to want to do it. It's not something you can do half-hearted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you really do need to want to do it. And there were a lot of people who stepped off the track when I did it, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of other people do it as well. I'm not saying it's not mentally difficult, but I think there is a funness about the whole thing, about going around and staying with the same elite level of people that you wouldn't normally see in an ultra race, like yourself.
Yeah, I love the simplicity of the format. As you say, the 400-meter lap or the 1500-meter lap. You're removing the obstacles of navigation, carrying your own kit, your sufficiency. That's replaced with planning and pacing. Not everyone sees it that way, and also doing multiple laps gives you multiple opportunities to pull out, because if you're doing 100-mile point to point and you get to mile 75, you're 25 miles from the finish. You've still got to get there, and depending on the race, the quickest way might actually be finish the race. Whereas if you step off that track, you're 50 meters from the showers and 100 meters from the car park. It can make that decision too easy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose the forever like nagging thought of being able to do that does make it more difficult. Absolutely. So normally, you ask people sort of what's your next race that you want to do. If you look to, well, the natural progression seems to be, do you want to do a 48-hour?
What I do.
You do.
I would like to have a go at 48-hour. As it stands at the moment, there's one 48-hour in the race in the UK next year, which doesn't have an IAU label yet. That's the Rasselbach event in Oxford. If they're to get their label, then I'd like to go there and have an attempt at 48 hours.
Oh man,
all health things pending.
Oh man. Well, then I suppose we're looking at sleep coming into it as well, because I can't imagine. Have you ever run for 48 hours, or what's the longest amount of time you've been out on your feet?
The longest time I've actually been running for is the 24. The longest time I've been awake and running it'd probably be 36 hours. I paced a section of the Grand Union Canal race last year, so she got up a normal day and drove to the race, drove, train, paced, and then had to get home after that. That was quite a long time I was awake for.
Yeah, I mean that's another great sort of flat. I assume it's flat if it's a canal race.
There's very little, and next year they're going from Birmingham down to London, so it's net downhill.
Oh, cool.
Applications are open now if anyone fancies that.
Is it 145 miles? I think
it is. Yes.
Yeah. That does tickle my fancy a little bit as well. Is there much sort of, because I mean, around the canals of Derbyshire, there's a lot of footbridges and stuff like that to step over. Is it like that on the Thames Path 100 and other like canal races like the Grand Union?
Grand Union, there's a few over bridges to cross, and there's a few sections where you come off the canal and go up and over, generally where they've got long tunnels that haven't got the towpath running through. That's the back half of the race up to Birmingham that I went on. Thames Path, there's a few over bridges and locks to manage. But Centurion events, their signposting is phenomenal. The aid stations is second to none, really. You are really well looked after, and you don't have to nav that much.
No, I wondered whether if there were lots and lots of footbridges and overbridges and stuff to do, whether that really like grinded you down over the period.
I wouldn't say that was really an issue on them. The biggest one is the fact it is all flat, and you're using the same muscles. That's the hardest part of it.
Yeah, because a lot of people just look at it and think flat, easy. That's my first 100-miler, tick.
Yeah.
Okay, well that is actually another big tick for me as far as a canal sort of 100-miler might be on the cards in the future, because I did wonder whether if there were a lot of sort of footbridges and stuff sort of impacting your rhythm, whether that would start to get a bit annoying. But
nothing that you'd say impacts your rhythm. You get a good stretch in between each one.
So when we're looking at paces in training to get up to sort of the GB gold standard, what sort of paces in your intervals or long runs are you trying to practice at?
Long runs are generally at race pace or slightly faster.
So that 450.
Yeah, so the last few 4-hour runs I did in this block were at 4:45 and 4:50, which by the time they came round, we'd agreed that was going to be my race pace. Training prior to that, before any health hiccups, I was looking to go faster, and I was working around about the 4:20, 4:30 mark for 4-hour run. And then midweek intervals, marathon pace effort, which for me is around about the 3:40 mark per kilometre. I'm not the fastest of runner on the shortest distance, which always shocks quite a few people. My 5K and my marathon times are ridiculously slow compared to my 24-hour distance.
Do you not think there's room for improvement there now?
There is, but there's got to be the motivation. And if I'm honest, I don't have it. Well, I compromised last year. I said I'd try 100K. And again, I enjoyed the challenge and the camaraderie of Team England and running for my country. That was really enjoyable and made me really proud to do it. But 100K is really hard.
Where was that held?
That was at Mallory Park.
Right, and is that a big loop that you do round and round and round, or?
It's Mallory Park's a motorbike circuit. It's round about 2K,
Okay.
and they put some switchbacks in it for us and made it a just under 5-kilometre loop.
Right.
And we had quite a lot of climbing on it. So in hindsight, when I look back at all the stats, it was actually the hilliest ultra I'd ever run.
Oh man, that is not what you want. So what sort of shoes were you wearing for that?
It was all on tarmac, so I was wearing the Alpha Fly 2s.
Yeah, and you recommended those to me for the 24-hour, and they were brilliant, to be fair. And
Yeah.
I would. How are you sourcing those in the future, though? Because surely there's only a finite number of them available.
There is, but we've done a bit of vintage stockpiling over the summer.
Oh, have you?
So I've now got 4 pairs that have been used for circa 1 marathon or less.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. They are out there. And I did run in the Alpha Fly 3s on Saturday. And I can confirm they are as nice to run in as the 2s. So it's not the end of the world.
All right. Okay. Well, then maybe I can suck it up if I can't find any more Alpha Fly 2s. But yeah, there's something about them that just really works around the track, and they've just the pop that they give you. Just I can't really compare to any of the super shoe that I've tried.
That and the noise that they make as well. You've got to put in a performance if you're making that amount of noise around the track.
Yeah, that is true, especially when you're a little bit heavier like me as well. It's quite a slap that comes out on the ground.
Yeah, I'm not small myself, so.
Well, that's something that's great about ultra running as well, is that you don't need to be. But I mean, so your marathon pace being at 3:40, that's encouraging, because I mean, I had spoken to a couple of other people who were suggesting that I needed to get my marathon time down to sort of sub 2:40 if I was. I mean, I don't know what 3:40 is in marathon.
Well, when I ran Gloucester, my marathon PB was 2:52, which I did as a split from a 6-hour 3 weeks before. I didn't get to 2:42, which is my current PB, until January this year, training for the 100K.
Right. Okay. But I suppose 3:40 I'm looking at is a 2:35 sort of marathon anyway. Yeah. So
I need to actually run that, but we call that marathon pace by like the states putting my body in of where it's getting me up to that zone 3, top in the zone 3.
Right. Okay. And do you measure that with heart rate strap?
Yeah, that's done off heart rate strap, and it's been cross-referenced as well with lactate thresholds in the lab.
Oh, nice. And you've done a sweat test as well, haven't you?
I did, yes, many moons ago.
Did you find? Yeah, but you only need to find out once, don't you? And as soon as you know what sort of salt you're secreting, I guess, then
there's been some other research on whether that changes or not. I'm not sure whether it does, but yeah, the Precision Fuel and Hydration say that It's a bit like your fingerprint. It's unique to you. And interestingly, I'm at 1,000 milligram a litre. So that's what I mix all my drinks up to now.
How do you measure that? Is it just in the ingredients themselves? It's easy enough to do.
Yeah, so if you're using sort of like a precision fuel hydration tablet, they'll tell you how much sodium is in each tablet, and you just mix that to the right amount of water.
Right. Okay. Yeah. See, I just completely winged it and just sort of had a salt tablet whenever I thought maybe I should probably be having one.
Yeah.
Did you have that mapped out sort of every hour? Was it every hour, or I have no idea.
I try and now take in about 800 mil an hour while I'm racing, and expect that to then fall off as the race progresses and it gets a bit cooler. When I did Gloucester, I was taking all my nutrition through liquid, apart from a few different sweets. So I was on 3 bottles an hour, which was about 720 mil an hour, and that had the sodium in it and all the carbohydrates.
So that was right. Okay, so in any one bottle, you had 240 mils of liquid. Then,
yeah.
Would you slow down to drink that? Would you walk at all, or is that just on the move?
Oddly, I'd speed up when someone put a bottle in my hand. You always find the lap I was given a bottle would then be a quick. I think I was overcompensating for drinking, so I'd perhaps slow to drink and then speed up, and then the lap pace would actually be quicker.
Like you were being handed a baton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Because I'd obviously just work with 500 ml bottles, like an ultra running novice, thinking that maybe I would just try and get that down me over a couple laps. Would you try and get it done in one lap, or did you not leave any pressure for how long that took?
I generally try and take something as soon as I was given it, because I don't like running with anything in my hands. And obviously the benefit of 400 meter track is you can just say, give it me next lap, and you're only 2 minutes away from being fed again. So I'd get that bottle, the 300 ml bottles that weren't quite full, drink that almost down in one, pass the bottle back on the next lap.
That sparked a question for me, because you say you're only 2 minutes away from being able to be given something, or again, I found it quite mentally draining having crew there asking me questions quite frequently. How were your instructions strict enough that you were able to have a bit more respite from that?
I did give them quite a comprehensive list of instructions. And also, I don't want to make any decisions when I'm running. I want them to tell me what I'm having. I've given them the instructions in advance. So until I start being a diva and saying, I don't want this drink, I want cheese instead, or I want something different, I want that decision taken away from me. I just want to be able to focus on running. It doesn't work for everyone. Some people have some very elaborate nutrition plans that change throughout the entire 24 hours, and kudos to them, it works for them. It doesn't work for me. A gel's a gel, a drink's a drink. Please, can I have one at the interval I need to keep my carbohydrates and my fluids right, and I'll do the running.
That sounds like a wise decision. You'd put in the article I read that you had a sort of 100 to 135 grams of carbs per hour. Were you able to keep that up for the duration?
Yeah, we averaged 105 at the end, and that included 90 minutes of not taking anything on at the end of the race, because I was running scared that I'd have to have a toilet stop or be sick. In hindsight, perhaps I should have tried to get a little bit in then. I'd started off at 140, but that was too much. We found out after like 8 hours of racing, it was a really hot day, and I had one of my diva moments, and told my crew to stop feeding me and just give me a can of ginger beer, which I walked around the track drinking for half a lap, and then came back and said, right, could we just stick to the 3 drinks an hour, and we'll go from there. And that worked then for the next 4 or 5 hours, and I was able to get back on track.
How many grams was it in the 3 drinks an hour?
That was 105 average.
105.
So the extra stuff I'd taken early on then leveled out with the bit I didn't have at the end.
Right. Okay. That is That is a high amount of carbs to be taking on 140. That's one of the highest that I've heard. You must have an iron stomach.
I have, and what I do as well is I'll train on my long runs. I will train with all of my race nutrition, so that I'm used to it. And if I'm getting up early and running in the morning, my first breakfast before I run will be a 75-gram gel. So I'm used to taking this race nutrition on. The next thing we've got to look at as team field, so to speak, is out of all these carbs I'm taking on, do I need as many? Is it just I'm able to stomach it, or is my body able to utilize it? So that's something to look at for 2026 as we fine tune it.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? And you do read about it quite a lot at the moment. Just how much can you utilize of the grams of carbs that you're actually taking on? But as far as I've read so far, it seems that the more you can put in, the more you can actually utilize. So if you're able to stomach it, surely just keep chucking it in.
You can, yes, and that obviously works to a point. But if what you're not able to utilize is sitting in your stomach and your digestive tract,
right,
and over a longer period of race, that's more likely to cause you an issue.
Right. Okay. So maybe there's a point then.
There is, yeah. I've tried some experimental mixes in training. I've gone up to like 170 grams an hour and felt uncomfortable. In the build up to Gloucester, I did 240 grams in 1 hour.
Oh my God.
I wanted to know what it felt like to have too much, so that I could identify that early on.
What did that consist of? Do you remember?
It was 3 drinks, a full like rice pot, naked rice pot, like the pot noodles.
Yeah.
And then some sweets. And I'd eaten all day because it was an evening run as well. It felt horrific.
I'm not surprised.
But I was able then when it came to race day, I was able to say I've had too much. I'm bloated and this is what it feels like, instead of I just feel rubbish and not knowing what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've absolutely tested your capacity there. But there can't be many people that have attempted it to quite that extent. I can't imagine.
No, I'm sure there's many more scientific ways now. I think Jamie Pugh's got a system where you can blow into a straw and do a treadmill test and drink a specific drink, and he'll give you the magic numbers.
Oh man, if we could all be invited to Jamie Pugh's studio, we'd all be better off for it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have us down in time.
I'll have to send him a message.
Yeah.
So, when's have you actually got any other races booked at this point, or are you still just umming and ahhing?
I'm in the ballot for Grand Union Canal Race for next year, so I'm hopeful of getting a place in that. As I say, once I've got heart issues sorted, I want to do another 24 and hopefully this 48. July, that one is.
Have you got any appointments sort of lined up to try and identify what's the procedure with the heart condition that you've got?
Well, I had a barrage of tests last Tuesday before we started the drive here, and they've all come back and said there's no structural damage to my heart. It's just a case of rest, really.
Right.
I've got a follow-up cardiology appointment in the next few weeks with some luck.
Is it a hereditary thing, or was it literally caused by overtraining?
It is pretty much caused by overtraining. There can be some hereditary links to it as well, but I'd lean towards mine being caused by overtraining. I had a wonderful July at the time. I clocked at nearly 1,000 kilometers. I did every session. Everything was going really well, and I obviously thought my body was absorbing the training and I was making the right steps. I pushed a little bit too hard, and it's caused a few issues.
Right. I mean, 1,000 kilometers nearly in 1 month is quite something. I know. I saw that Chris Kelly had done 900 kilometers in 4 weeks, and I thought that was bonkers as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose you guys have just been able to train your bodies to the point where it can handle that sort of volume. Almost.
Yeah, we do train for it, and there are textbooks on how to train, and there's obviously training plans that get put together for us with our coaches. But we are pushing the envelope, I think, by our very nature. We all want to get a little bit more out of ourselves, and we have coaches to rein us in. We listen to our bodies, and sometimes we still manage to go a little bit too far.
It's a lesson learned, I suppose, and I'm sorry that it had to be learned this year of all years, but at least there's no structural damage, as you say, so you can just rest up, and then hopefully it'll all clear up for you. Yeah, okay, good. Well,
what about
outside
yourself? Have you got any races?
Me? I've just ducked out of the arc. Now that you mentioned the arc, because I thought it's just it was weighing on me too much. It wasn't inspiring me. It wasn't motivating me. So it's just not the time for me to do that. So I'd been thinking like, oh, if I need to get quicker, then to be able to run another 24-hour a slightly quicker pace, then I'd better do that. So I'm just going to focus on trying to go back to basics, try and get a new 5K, 10K, half marathon PV sort of road and build up to it and see.
Brilliant.
Yeah, see how quick I can get, and then maybe one day I'll be able to go sort of over 230, 240, who knows.
Yeah, it's if you get the chance, take it, especially if you get the opportunity to pull that vest on. It is something special. From the minute you get your phone call to say you've been selected, would you still like your place, through to the kit drop, turn up with the team, all the photos, and turn that start line. Yeah, it's well worth the investment in time if you can.
Yeah, it sounds really special. What was it like getting that call? When did you find out?
I found out middle of April. No, middle of April. Hang on, sorry, I have to get the dates right here. End of April. Yeah, the closing period for applications was mid-April, just after Crawley. And I found out end of April, and it was officially announced to everyone on the Friday before the Anglo-Celtic Plate, which was then a massive buzz because all the people that had been following it are in the same hotel as you were all standing there getting your team briefing for the following day.
That's the second time I've heard this Anglo-Celtic Plate come up. It's a massive race, isn't it? But I'd literally never heard of it before, like a week ago. Have you ever done it?
Yeah, that's what I did this year. So when I spoke with Nathan after Gloucester about what to do, he said there's the 100k, there's obviously the national championships. We're not sure whether you'd get a place in Team England because you've not ran a fast marathon, you've not ran 100k. But is it something you'd be interested in? I said, I'll do it, and I can always enter the open race at the same time. But we'll put an application in and see what happens. So there's very few road 100Ks in the UK.
What's the course like for it?
It changes year by year. So each nation takes a turn at hosting.
Right. So okay.
Last year Scotland, this year England, and I believe it's in Ireland next year.
All right. Okay. And it's always 100k road.
Yeah.
Is it done on a loop as well, or I can't imagine
it'd be a looped course because you've got your crew to look after you. So again, you're running around in your vest and your shorts, and people are throwing bottles and gels at you every lap.
How many people are on each team?
5 men, 5 women for each national team.
Cool. Maybe I'll try and go out for that next year. Try and have a proper watch of it. That sounds awesome.
You could always enter the open race and have a weekend in Dublin.
Yeah. Why not? It's not that expensive to fly.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Only a small bag, trainers, vest, shirt and jeans for the night. You'll be fine.
Wicked. Okay, I'll get it booked in. I'll just put it in the family calendar. She doesn't have to know that we've not agreed to it.
No, not until she listens to the podcasts.
Well, indeed. Well, she doesn't listen to them all, so maybe I'll get away with this one. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Matt. I'm just wary that we've got to our hour's time here. So once again, congratulations on the British record. And sorry that your world championships didn't go as you wanted, but hopefully I'm sure you'll be back strong and fighting in 2027, no doubt, flying the flag and pulling round a very strong team, no doubt. So thanks for coming on.
Hope so, and good luck with your races next year. We will tow a few start lines together.
Cheers, mate. Hope so.